MSNBC for insight and analysis of the 2012 election. Coverage brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility, what's your policy?
After 5 hours of debate, the House is expected to vote on repealing the health care law tomorrow, with the White House vowing to veto the bill if passed this morning. Speaker John Boehner responded to critics asking why the vote in the first place.
We announced that we were going to vote again. So, of course, the media goes, well, why? You know how they are. Why? It really boils down to one simple word: resolve. You know, we are resolved to get rid of a law that will ruin the best health care delivery system the world has ever seen.
Joined now by Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole, former chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee as well. Congressman, good morning to you. I'll try not to use the voice that Speaker Boehner just used to mock us, but I do want to ask you, why? I mean, this is the 31st time the Supreme Court has already upheld the law. At what point does this become settled?
I think it'd probably be settled during the election. This is to make it crystal clear to the American people that really the final decision's in their hand. Look, once they saw this law, they clearly didn't like it. They've continued to show they didn't like it. They changed the House of Representatives in 2010. Now they're going to have an opportunity to change the presidency and the Senate. If they do, then this law will be repealed. If they don't, then it's going to be with us for a very long time.
So this is another one of those symbolic votes.
I think it's more than symbolic. Look, I think we're actually going to see some Democrats who voted against repeal the last time move and join us. Plus, you'll see, obviously, every single Republican in the House vote no. So I think it makes clear what a partisan bill this is, how unpopular it is, and the opposition is bipartisan. Only the support is partisan. There's just simply no Republicans for this legislation.
And you mentioned the only support were Democrats. What about the Supreme Court?
Well, the Supreme Court said it was constitutional, and Justice Roberts made a very clear point of saying that doesn't mean it's wise, but it's not the court's job to defend the American people from poor decisions by their elected officials. I actually think that's true. I think he teed it up just right, and frankly, as somebody that believes in the democratic system with a small d, I'm sort of glad the American people are going to have the final say and the final responsibility as to whether or not this unpopular law continues.
Let's drill down your state. Let's talk about Oklahoma here specifically. Oklahoma Health Care Authority figures show that some 624,000 Oklahomans are uninsured right now. They say 200,000 Oklahomans would become eligible for Medicaid with the Affordable Care Act. Governor Fallin has not decided on whether to accept the expansion just yet. What happens to those people in Oklahoma if the state does not accept the expansion?
Well, I think if we'll step by step do the right things in Washington, D.C., that is allow associated health care plans, have medical insurance liability reform, allow companies to, go and pool and insure things, we can do a lot to eat into that number. But we think this particular plan will just frankly bankrupt the federal government. It's full of taxes, $600 billion new taxes, $500 billion raid on Medicare. What's going to happen to those people when we drain that much money out of the Medicare system just at the time that the baby boomer generation is retiring? So we just think there's a lot better way. I think the American people have looked at this now for 3 years, 2 years, 3 years in debate, but 2 years since passage, and they said, look, we really don't like this law. We'd like to have it repealed. That's going to be a big part of the next election.
Congressman Tom Cole, Oklahoma. Congressman, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Hey, Craig, thank you.
A little bit later, we should know we are going to get the other side. Democratic Congressman Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, the ranking Democrat on the House Budget